Chapter 12 is called Houston, We Have a Problem. This chapter is about problem solving and decision making, the number two most marketable skills you need to be successful in the workplace. Here are the objectives for this chapter. These are the things you should understand at the end of it. First off, problem solving is a process. Whenever you are faced with a problem, you should go through these 7 steps to figure out and solve your problem. First of all, you have to state what appears to be the problem. Like, what do you think the problem is? I'm not passing my classes. Second step is you want to gather facts, feelings, and opinions. Okay, so what are some facts about that? Well, I failed 5 of my classes for the semester. It makes me feel terrible. I don't think I'm a good student, right? So you gather some information. Step 3, you want to restate the problem because now that I've gathered some information, I realize it's not that I'm a terrible student, it's that I don't turn in my work on time. That's the real problem. Now, in step 4, I want to identify some alternative solutions. So, what are some solutions I can have that'll help me turn in my work on time? I could use a planner. I could set reminders in my phone. I could use the ABC method. And then step 5, you want to evaluate those alternatives. So now that I've listed some solutions, which one is going to work best for me? If I know that a planner doesn't work for me, I can't do that. But maybe I can use the ABC method. Maybe I can start using sticky notes, or I can use a Google Doc and I can write down everything I need to do and put a little A by the things that have to be done today, a B by things that need to be done very soon, and a C by things that I need to do, but it can take a while. Then, after I've evaluated those alternatives and I've picked the one I want to use, then I want to implement it. I want to implement that solution. So now I'm going to start using the ABC method. And then step 7, I know you can't see it, but it says evaluate the results. So at the end, after you have used that method, did it work? And obviously, if it works, you should keep doing that. If it doesn't work, you may have to go through all these steps again, or you may have to go back up to step 4 and try a different solution that you've identified. Once again, here's just a little bit more detail about what all those steps are. And we've already talked about those in details. Restate the problem, identify alternative solutions, evaluating your alternatives, implementing the solution, and evaluating the results. Now let's talk about decision making. When you make a decision, it is a cognitive process where you assess information and then you select a course of action from 2 or more alternatives. In the human decision making process, we usually make decisions based on our values. Your values are those core beliefs that you've learned early on in your life based on your experiences and interactions with influential people. Usually for us, our influential people when we're children are our parents or our family members. Morality is a set of rules that determine whether our thoughts or behaviors are right or wrong. Your morality involves something called a moral compass. So if you know that a compass, a directional compass, tells you which way to go, your moral compass is going to give you a sense of direction and tell you sort of what your purpose is in life. The ventral medial prefrontal cortex is a part of your brain. It's a part of your frontal lobe, which is at the very front of your brain. And for all of us, the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until your early 20s. Well, guess what? That prefrontal cortex, that ventral medial prefrontal cortex is crucial in helping you make and solve moral dilemmas. So what does that tell you about teenagers? It tells you that teenagers may not sometimes make the best decisions because of an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. Ethics means being morally correct and honorable and humane and respectable, being a decent human. When a person is ethical, they make the right decisions for the right reasons at the right times. When we make unethical decisions, it can change the trajectory of our lives. Lawrence Kohlberg was a psychologist who came up with 6 stages of moral development. He came up with these stages in different levels, starting with level 1. During the pre-conventional stage of moral reasoning, you have stages 1 and 2 of morality, which is punishment, obedience, and instrumental exchange. The punishment obedience stage 1 occurs when people make moral decisions based on being punished or gaining a reward. In stage 2, morality is based on instrumental exchange. So during this stage, people make moral decisions based on whether or not somebody has done the same for them. So I helped my friend out with answers because my friend helped me out with answers. In level 2 of morality, that's the conventional stage, there's the conventional level, and that includes stages 3 and 4. And during this stage, this is the good child orientation at stage 3. When I'm nice to other people, my morality is based on other people liking me and thinking I'm a good child. In stage 4, my morality is based on law and order and maintaining that in our society. So my moral decisions are going to be based on the fact that I'm doing things that are right for society. I'm going to follow the rules of society. I'm not going to do that because it's breaking the law or breaking the rules. Level 3 is the post-conventional level of morality. It's the highest level of morality and includes stages 5 and 6. Stage 5 is a social contract orientation. This is when laws of society are obeyed, but we realize that sometimes we have to break those laws. There are exceptions we can make. For example, if we've got a single mother who's trying to provide for her family, but doesn't have any more money for milk and eggs for her children, it might be okay. We might think it's okay for her to steal that so that her children can eat, whereas we wouldn't think it was okay for that same mother to steal a big screen TV, because that's different from surviving and pleasure. Level 6 is the universal ethical principles. This is when our morality has been established and we always apply it in consistent ways. So I'm always going to make the same moral decisions, and if I'm always a person who helps others, I'm always going to help others because that's what I think is the right thing to do. A dilemma occurs when we have a forced choice that we have to make between 2 things that are undesirable. For example, do you want to clean your room or do your homework? Well, you don't really want to do either one of them, but if you have to make a choice, you've got to do one of them first. Modality refers to how we choose to carry out a specific action. A decision-making modality is our preferred way of going about making a decision. And for most people, we make decisions based on our thinking, our feeling, our sensing, or our intuition. Our thinking modality is what your brain tells you to do based on logic and facts and reasoning. Our feeling modality is what your heart tells you to do and how you feel about the situation. Your sensing modality is what your 5 senses tell you based on what you see, smell, touch, taste, hear, or see. Intuition modality is what your gut tells you about the situation. So let's just say if you were trying to buy a new car, your thinking modality would tell you, okay, this car costs $30,000. I'm going to end up having to pay $500 a month. I can or can't afford this. The feeling modality might say, oh, I've always wanted this Ford Mustang. I have to have it. You feel like you need to have the car. Sensing modality, you turn on the ignition and you hear the roar of the engine, or you see the nice candy red paint. Your sensing modality might also tell you to buy the car. Your intuition, your gut might say, hey, you buy this car, it's going to get repossessed. So we all tend to make decisions based on one of these 4 modalities. And that is everything you need to know in Chapter 12.